Hello there, and welcome back to the 30th episode of the Fandom podcast.
Hello.
Today we have no guests again, just Josh. Um,
Yeah, just does again.
yeah. So as always,
It isn't necessarily a bad thing.
no, it's not always the worst. Try to get a few people on for this week, but yeah, it's quite tough. Seeming as, but I think next week we definitely got guest planned. Obviously,
Yeah, yeah,
four comes out next week, so I'm looking forward to that.
yeah, that should be very good.
Yeah, so we'll start off with. We've had a fairly busy week this week. So
Yeah,
obviously Minions,
of
Miss Marvel,
course.
obviously, yeah, Miss Marvel, Stranger Things as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we've got a
I
lot.
mean, Minions has to be the highlight for me, I think.
Oh, Minions was. Speaking of Minions, do you want to get into it then? Uh,
Yeah,
Minions
yeah.
Rise of Gru. So Minions Rise of Gru. Josh, I'll let you get started off for this one.
Okay, I mean, what a film. Um, I laughed, I cried, I felt all the emotions. Um, I mean, yeah, it's just everything you'd want from a Minions film, really. Um, Decent storyline, you know, it, fun characters, especially the minions. Um, I think adding Gru in there and giving him his own storyline worked. And I mean, we got some cool villains as well. I mean, overall, it really worked as a film.
I remember at the start when we first went in, and we were like, "Oh, imagine if this film it could actually be better than Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness." We come out of the cinema.
Yeah,
I do my ratings and stuff, and I find, hang on a minute, this film may have actually been a lot more exciting. This film was more exciting than Doctor Strange. Like for me
yeah,
personally,
yeah,
it sounds ridiculous, but to be fair, when we went in there, it was already very good. I mean, we had people coming in suits and everything, and it was just the atmosphere was brilliant. It was the best atmosphere I've ever been to go see a film. Um, yeah, so we went in there, and I think already at the start of the film, as soon as it started, you get people clapping, clapping for it. You get it was just amazing. There was like including me and Josh, there was 11 of us that went, and we recognised two other
yeah,
people.
yeah,
So the cinema was packed as well. Yeah, it was truly amazing. That's the thing. I mean, I think going off the film was it wasn't that bad. It was a good film as well.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, where do I start? Like the uh I think they showed Gru very well. I like seeing him and the minions in this film. Um, I think it shared the same humor as other Minions films, with obviously the Minions being arguing amongst each other, and Otto as well. Uh, yeah, Otto being Otto. Um,
yeah,
well, what else can I say? Uh, yeah, obviously some of the villains, like you said earlier on, were very cool. The Vicious Six, and I thought,
yeah, yeah,
uh, and then the final fight scene when the minions the minions and Gru and whatever the other villain that's called that Gru looks up to. Yeah, that they all took down the Vicious Six at the end of the film, which I thought was very cool. I just
yeah. I think it was a really enjoyable film overall.
I like for the first time in a while I didn't walk into a cinema expecting much. I walked in thinking, oh,
What do you
it's
mean?
probably be a bit more of a laugh and a joke, and then it turned out to be alright. So
Yeah,
yeah, it did work very well.
yeah. I mean, it has loads of references to the original
Oh yeah,
Despicable Me films.
we
We
had
had
people celebrating
Dr.
over that.
Nefario himself.
Yeah.
We had
Um,
Dr. Nefario, and he had like Gru's car sort of thing. We had
Vector.
uh, Vector, yeah, he got a mention, and his dad, the whole Bank of Evil, was in it. What was the other thing? Mr. Ramsbottom from Despicable Me 2. There's a young version of him. And even small things like, wow, they have this very cool training montage. Stuart was eating out of a Scarlet Overkill lunchbox, which I thought was very cool detail as well. So, and yeah, overall, it was almost like reference-wise, it was almost the Avengers Endgame of Minions.
It sounds ridiculous to say that, I know.
But it is. And going back to the villains, I thought that it was probably one of the best villains we've had in a Minions film. I know Vector's obviously cool and a fan favourite.
Vector at the top, yeah.
But apart from that, I think these could be some of the best villains, because you had ones that were funny, and yet they were still quite a threat, to be fair. They were definitely like the most almost powerful villains, I'd say, they've faced so far in a Minions film.
Yeah.
So, I mean, fan favourite here, my favourite personally is Nunchuck.
Oh, I agree. Nunchuck, truly showing that characteristic of being a nun and using nunchucks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And being able to float.
I've actually put Gru on my wish list for Funko Pops, like the new Gru Pop. I thought it looked quite cool, so I just thought, you know what, I might as well get it.
I want roller skating Stuart personally.
When was that even mentioned?
I think he looks cool.
When was he even in the film?
It was literally a small bit in like Gru's his little like layer under his house in his basement. He was like playing some music, I think, wasn't he? They were having like a party there, and he had the outfit on. It was a very brief scene.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I think just adding everything. I think the audience that we had, just the actual film itself overall, I just think it added to something amazing. And
yeah,
what was I going to say as well? I don't know what other Minions films they can do with it. Obviously, they can work with anything. But
yeah, they can do all sorts.
Yeah, where do you reckon they'll go next?
I don't know. I reckon they'll probably have another adventure with young Gru. I know. I think they've already confirmed a Despicable Me 4.
Oh wow,
so that'll be interesting.
Okay.
So in a couple of years' time. I personally would like to see a Dr. Nefario film. I think he's just a cool character.
I think they'd struggle to make a full. I think they would struggle to make a full film about him. That's the thing.
But I want to see more of Dr. Nefario either way.
Well, I mean, you'll get to see more of him in if there's another Minions film.
Yeah, hopefully. So yeah, with Minions, they can pretty much do whatever they want. They could probably make like a Minions series somehow on some sort of streaming service.
Yeah. I mean, it was just it was one of them films that you don't really expect much walking into. You come out of it, and it turns out it's really good. So.
For me, it was one I expected lots walking into, and it delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah, just what a great film, honestly. And like I say, the atmosphere in the cinema just really made it for us.
Yeah. So, what would you rate this film out of 10?
Now, seriously?
Yeah,
I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10.
I've given it an 8 out of 10.
How disgraceful of you.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. It is fourth on my movie of the year, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's third so far for me.
Third, Christ. It's to think what's even above it. It's Batman
and
I think it's fifth actually. Yeah, it's probably fifth. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's enough from Minions. Moving on to Miss Marvel episode 4. Do you want me to get started off
Yeah,
with this one?
yeah. I mean, I know we had very different opinions on this, but I'll let you start.
I just didn't like this episode. I mean, I thought it was very, very boring. Um, let's be real. I saw a comment today, on Instagram post saying like, "Oh, this show is just getting boring." And to be honest, I can see his point. Like, will this show actually be relevant at any point? We all know that the Nor's probably not going to get mentioned again. Um, after the show, the Captain Marvel will probably come in a post credit scene, and that's all they're really trying to do with this show. So
Hmm.
they could have done something a
I
bit
reckon it will link in somehow. I
maybe,
reckon they
but
will
if they were gonna
delve further into the idea of like the
yeah,
Nor and everything.
if that's the only idea they're going down, then surely they could have done something like American Chavez, like what they did with her.
Hmm, kind of. Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I, I don't know. I think they're just doing lots of different things at the moment. Marvel trying
yeah,
to figure out what people want to see
that's the
and
thing.
trying to like increase their audience.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully for next week we'll definitely maybe get back into Marvel again because I'm losing hope in them slightly just after Doctor Strange and
Mm,
stuff. But Moon Knight was good this year. I mean, there were a couple of parts of it that didn't make it as solid as I thought it was, but yeah, as I thought it would be, and yeah, so did Doctor Strange. I overestimated that film quite a lot, but hopefully four turns out right. But anyway, back to Miss Marvel. I didn't like this episode. It didn't make me care for any of the deaths as well. I mean, there was like one death with that guy that was being chased by the clandestines, and
right, yeah, yeah.
yeah, he just died. I didn't really care for him. Okay, well, fair enough. He died. Moving on.
No, I can kind of see that.
Yeah, just if you're gonna make a character like that die, at least show something a little bit more towards him. Okay, give him something else. But now we're stuck with the other person now, and moving into episode 5. Um, it looks like to be fair, it did end up on a slight cliffhanger with was it what was the day called? I can't remember what it's called again. The day that they left India for Pakistan.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
the partition,
Partition Day. That's
wasn't it?
it. So we get it looks like a little bit of scene of Partition Day. So
Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
really know what's going to happen. That'll probably feed into about 20 minutes of next episode, and then we'll go back and yeah. I mean, hope it looks like so far it's been set up to be a decent finale. Let's hope that.
Yeah.
Let's hope it turns out all right. Well, what have you
And
got to say?
I thought this episode was probably the best so far, in my opinion. I thought um, it is interesting to see it go new places, actually go to Pakistan where the character's from. I thought it was interesting to see the Red Dagger, the new character. I thought they look like a really interesting group of characters. Um, and it'll be interesting to like explore more moving forward. So I hope they do like look further into them. Uh, I mean, I just thought it was a good episode overall. Really, it had lots of action throughout to keep it entertaining. And I'd say probably some of the best action we've had so far on the show. Uh, and yeah, it's just interesting. They're moving more towards that superhero style of show now. So I'm enjoying that a lot more. So yeah, I'd say it's probably the episode I've enjoyed most so far. Really. Uh,
That's where I
and
disagree.
yeah,
I thought it was the worst action we got. I mean, let's be real. The only action we got was
I thought
it was like
there was loads of action in this episode.
yeah, like
We got
a chase scene, which
we got the chase scene at the end. We got Miss Marvel versus Red Dagger. We got them in the breaking out of the prison thing, the clandestines. There was loads of action all throughout the episode. I thought.
I don't want to call that fight between the Miss Mark, well, yeah, Kamala and the Red Dagger, because I see more action in like a school fight or something like that. I see more action in that than what we saw in that fight, because that was terrible. That was terrible. I thought it just oh wow, let me help. Let me try and beat you up. Oh wait, no, I'm gonna help you out now. Oh Christ above. It just wasn't great. It wasn't great at all. Yeah, just I even thought the CGI was very dodgy in that.
The CGI has been dodgy all throughout. To be fair, I'd say that's just one thing the show needs to improve on in general.
Yeah.
I'd say just Miss Marvel's powers don't look good in this show.
Yeah.
And that's one of the main problems with the show.
Hopefully.
I really hope when it moves to like a proper cinema screen.
Yeah, Captain Marvel
film in the Marvels. I really hope they just improve the CGI on that, because I don't want to see bad CGI like that on a big screen.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. It was just a boring episode. I thought, there's not really much I could take from it. Have you got anything else to say?
Not really. I'd say obviously everyone has different tastes. So I'd say some people aren't enjoying this show, some people are really enjoying it. I'm kind of in the middle at the moment, so yeah, not everyone's going to enjoy it really.
Yeah. Have you got rating out of 10 then?
I went 7.5 out of 10 this episode.
Fair enough. I went for 4 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So next up we have Stranger Things, Volume 2, and we'll give a full breakdown.
One of the main.
Yeah.
Probably one of the main topics this week. The discussion.
Well, we've only had 3 topics this week, but
yeah, we're probably going to spend quite a while discussing this one.
Yeah. Do you want to start us off, or me?
I can if you want.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
go ahead.
Just what a finale to a great season of a great show. Stranger Things has always been good, but this is where it's kind of reached its prime, in my opinion. I think just that finale in particular had some of the best scenes we've seen from Stranger Things. And it had some of the best emotion and the best acting we've seen. I'd say that the actors have never been bad. I'd say that's one thing I really like about Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, they actually they do have good actors for it. Everyone plays their role really well.
These kid actors. They've had these child actors all throughout. But it's not like Harry Potter where it's like cringy for the first couple of films or a couple of seasons. It's actually been good acting from them all the way throughout, from start to finish. But they've really proved themselves as great actors this season with some of the most emotional scenes we got. Obviously Max and Lucas at the end, obviously spoilers coming.
Oh yeah, warning, but, we just want to mention, if you haven't watched it yet, do skip ahead to. We'll find the time slot.
Yeah, but when Max obviously is dying and briefly dies, you have some of the probably one of the most emotional scenes from between Max and Lucas and 11 there. You have Eddie's death, and you have some of the best emotion from Dustin there. I mean, just from all of the actors, they really put some of the best and most emotional performances in. And I mean, this finale just had me on the edge of my seat the whole way through. I was so tense all the way through. I just let out a gasp of like relief towards the end when it all kind of resolved itself slightly, because I'd been so on edge all the way throughout. So yeah, it's just it's what you want from the season finale of a show, and it's probably one of the best episodes of a show I've seen. To be fair, it was just amazing to see all of this payoff and explanation from 4 seasons of a show.
Yeah, I just thought it wasn't amazing. To clarify, this has been my favourite season so far of Stranger Things.
Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
think, like, a lot of people will say season one, but I don't think. I think nothing comes close to this one. I think the fact, um, I just like the fact that throughout the whole season we get to follow 3 different storylines, or sometimes 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes just more than that. And I thought that I like to see that a lot in shows, because normally you go down one path and yeah, you just expect everything to be like a classic story. But in this one, everything links so well together.
Yeah.
I think the fight scene at the end as well between Vecna and and Eleven, and then also the contrast to Hopper and the Demogorgon. I mean, first of all,
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Hopper just whips out a sword. Yeah, he just gets a sword from the
That's probably
floor.
one of the coolest scenes I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, and just like
But,
chops
oh,
does yeah, chops the Demogorgon's head off, and oh yeah, uh,
Hopper fighting and slicing up a Demogorgon with a sword.
I
Like,
truly,
I saw him pick up the sword and I got so gassed because he's sitting there facing a Demogorgon with a sword and you're just like, oh my god,
yeah,
this is one of the coolest things I've seen.
yeah, it was amazing though. I mean, what else can I say? Uh, yeah, I thought I really liked Eddie in this show. I think my 2 favorite
Yeah.
characters this season have been Eddie, and I'll go give it to Murray as well. Murray, I think he was.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't. He's not a main character in the show, but
No.
I think he is literally just needed. He's like he's a comedic
Yeah,
character
definitely.
that
Yeah.
um yeah, you just almost sometimes it switches between a bit of a joke and serious. Um yeah, the so I thought Eddie's death was really good, and I thought the scene soon after when Dawson is talking to Mr. Munson, I thought that was quite sad. When he hands over the guitar
Yeah.
pick, and I like compared to other heroes you get in other show, yeah, in other shows, like I think Eddie's is like so much more better. You don't see that from other shows, but in this you it gets explained. Um, his
Yeah.
character arc is so much better.
Yeah. Some of the character arcs in the show are just the way they do them is really good. And the way they do their character deaths really almost pays off all that character arc
Hmm. Yeah.
all along.
Um,
Um,
I even liked Jason. Jason getting beaten up by Lucas. I know Lucas was struggling in that scene and just beats him up basically, and
yeah, yeah.
knocks him out as well. Then he proceeds to die after the portal it starts to split.
That's got to be one of the most brutal deaths yet, and they just kind
Yeah,
of skim over it.
like his
He
bone,
just gets
he gets
disintegrated in half.
yeah. Uh, it was a crazy finale. I don't know what they can. What else can we say about it? It was just truly amazing. Um,
Yeah, honestly, with this being the penultimate season, I honestly can't wait to see what they do with the last season.
oh yeah, it's
Because, I mean, it's going to be crazy. We're literally going to get the army of the Upside Down against these characters we've grown to love across 4 seasons.
yeah. I think it's going to be amazing. To be honest, the finale. And as we see, Hawkins has been merged almost with the Upside Down.
Yeah, it's kind of starting to be taken over by the Upside Down.
Yeah. So It does look amazing, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, what was I going to say? Just the explanation and how it all explains how Vecna's been behind it all the whole time works very well as well.
Oh, like
and just clever little details like how he was fascinated with spiders.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
what
he designed like the mind flayer into being a spider.
that's what I was about to say. Yeah, because I didn't really understand it all until I finally realised it. So the shadow in Russia is what actually goes into, I don't know, the things in the upside down and gives them the energy.
Yeah, it's kind of like the mind flayer that creates this hive mind. Almost.
Yeah. So I think it was amazing, to be fair. And, yeah, I've been having a bit of a complaint about Jonathan throughout the season because I thought, oh, they've basically just ruined his character in this series. But episode 9 today, when he starts talking to Will, finally we get to see a bit of that old Jonathan that I thought was really good in the show. So
yeah, his connection with Will and their connection as a family works so well.
Yeah,
it's one you can really connect to as a viewer almost.
I think Steve was amazing in this as well. I don't know where they'll go with like Steve, Nancy, and Jonathan in season 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the fact that Jonathan, I think Steve, in this show when he starts talking to Nancy about, about how she changed his life. I just think it worked. It works very well. The whole thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. You can have all these problems with like weird monsters from other dimensions and stuff, and like brutal death. But you can also have these just human like problems and human moments throughout all of it, and that's what makes Strange Things work so well.
Yeah.
Just how you've got all these human connections and all these people, and how they all link together, and how their lives are, so they work as a group, and all of their different interactions weaved within all the weird other dimension monster stuff. It just works really well and makes the show what it is.
Yeah. What else was I going to say? We haven't actually talked much about episode 8. I think that was quite important with Brenna dying, and we don't know what's happened to Dr. Owens.
Yeah, I mean, again, it kind of puts an end to all this dilemma between Eleven and Dr. Brenner, but Brenner is such an important character to Strange Things. We see some of the best moments between him and Eleven in this episode, in episode 8. I'd say that's another great thing about this volume 2 we've got. Just see in episode 8 you see all these interactions between Brenner and Eleven and all those problems, and then season 9 it's just a massive battle that we've been waiting for so
long. I'm just having a look now because I keep on thinking how would they win this massive fight against against this massive army of like demogorgons, probably more mind flayers in there as well from season 3. Like I can imagine maybe a few of them turning up. I just want to know how would they be able to beat that? And then I keep on thinking back to is it who's the person with the powers in season 2?
Is it Carly?
Carly, that's it. Whatever her name is, I can't remember. But yeah, just think, wouldn't that come back into play at some point? Her, essentially? Who knows?
Yeah. I could see her coming back. I know that whole storyline from season 2 wasn't the most popular with audiences, but I think they could probably redeem it somehow in season 5 by bringing her back.
Yeah.
And having kind of her help.
I plan to rewatch. I plan to rewatch the show just to actually
Yeah.
just to figure out what happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that at some point.
Yeah, give me a full recap of it. I think season 5 is set to be a 2024 release date. It hasn't been confirmed,
Yeah,
but
they've said it won't be as long of a wait as it was between season 3 and season 4, so hopefully only a year or two.
yeah, which I mean, if they're going for something absolutely amazing, I'll give them all the time they need. I don't really mind.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I thought it was amazing. This whole show, the characters got so much better. I've enjoyed.
There's still so many questions, though. That's the thing.
I've
They've
enjoyed.
still left us with so many questions, and that's what works.
Yeah, I think Max nearly dying as well. I mean, obviously she did die for a minute, but
Yeah.
what I think
I mean,
is,
we'll see what happens with her.
yeah. I mean, sometimes what I thought, um, no, what I thought with this is, couldn't they have killed her off? Like maybe it would have added more emotion to the moments, and it would have
Yeah.
worked a bit better. But yeah, it also worked how they did it, so I don't really mind either way.
Like how they did it, they still had an emotional death that added loads of emotion to the show, and yet we still get to see her and the gang back together as a whole in season 5. I'd say I'm looking forward to that, seeing the more reunited, all back together to fight the full force of the Upside Down.
You had you had a decent theory, with Max as well.
With Max, so obviously she dies, and then when she dies, her eyes are all like still glazed over and stuff, and she like can't see or anything. And then when 11 looks into her mind back at the hospital later on, she obviously can't find her anywhere, which is a bit strange. And I think there's just people saying like, is she dead? What's going on? I reckon Vecna's kind of taken her consciousness almost, or like her soul or something. Because like earlier on in the season, he said something about they're all here with me, or like they're all still there with him in his mind. And we know that when he killed the people in the lab, he kind of gained their power somehow. I'm thinking, when he kills someone, does he kind of take their consciousness and like use it to make him more powerful? And that's what's happened with Max almost.
Yeah, it could be to boost his strength.
She's still alive, but he's kind of taken her consciousness to keep him in strength.
Yeah.
Then that's another almost dilemma I've got to solve in season 5. I think that could be a thing that happens.
Yeah, I haven't really got much else to say on this. Hopefully they keep Argyle for season 5. I like him. I just think, out of all the negativity in the show, we get this one guy who's just addicted to drugs, and it's just funny.
Yeah, we kind of needed him this season in particular because it's such a dark, horror-filled season. So we kind of needed a character to outweigh and outbalance all the darkness.
Have you got anything else to say on this?
I don't think so. I think we've mentioned quite a lot about it,
really. Yeah. So, if you want to give a rating out of 10, then.
Yeah, I've gone for a 9 out of 10 for this season as a whole.
Wow, I thought you were giving it a straight 10, to be honest.
No, it still had a couple of problems. It's been a bit slow at times. It was a bit slow to build at the start, but overall it's still very good. So 9 out of
10. Like I said, it's been my favourite season so far. I think they've done everything very well. With like you just said, you had an issue with the pacing of the show. I thought the pacing of the show was very good. introducing Eddie, getting the death started, and I thought that really interests me. And then getting into season 7, no, getting into episode 7, that was amazing. And then the finale was absolutely like the finale was a full on movie. If they released it in the cinema, it would have held up really well. That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna say I think at some point we need to show like this season at a cinema somewhere.
Oh, they could do. Yeah, so I've given this a 10 out of 10.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I've got a bit of time actually to talk about Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Yeah.
I don't think we have anything for lit this week. Or we did actually get one
I
thing.
have like one thing.
Yeah, we'll talk about that once if we have time. So yeah, Lego Star Wars. It's a great game if you love Star Wars. If you don't, probably not for you. It's more about, I think, it's more about the nostalgia of the game, not about it's meant to be a really really big difficult. It's meant to be very difficult. It's just more about playing through Star Wars and exploring some of these new planets. Exploring planets that you don't really know much about. Like for me personally, I like looking about Exegol, the Sith planet. And it's quite interesting to just look around there. And Camino, I thought was very good to look about. It's just got like I've completed all the storyline now. I plan to get every character in the game, and I'm about 200 out of 380 characters in. So yeah, it's just I think small things as well, like Greedo versus Han. Like there's a few stormtroopers outside of the cantina, debating about who shot first. I just think small things like that, and like a small side quests. I think it works really well. I did help out Max Rebo today. Helped him get to Naboo for after his concert, and you just got to think it's just fun. That's the thing. It's like it's a fun thing to do. You get to play your favorite characters. Yeah, it's also really good graphics for a Lego game. I'll give it that. Yeah, you see, like for other instead of other, let me get my words right here. Yeah, the graphics are very good compared to other Lego games. Yeah, the only thing is I would say I don't think it's worth 40 quid, or that's how much I paid for it. But I the actual price of it is like 60, sometimes 50, maybe a bit lower. I don't think it's worth that much. I think it should have been licensed about. It should have been put around maybe 30 quid. I thought that would have been alright, but it depends it depends on how it goes. But if you like Star Wars, it's definitely a worth it game to play. And yeah, I haven't really got much else to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I think even some of the sequel trilogy, um, I think they just made that alright. Like everyone hates Rise of Skywalker. I enjoyed playing through it actually. Like even though the film was terrible, this actually turned out they made it better in this because you don't have to focus on the negative. The Lego game this focuses on the only positives there were. So yeah, it's good to explore some of the planets as well. Like I said,
Okay.
yeah, like and going through the Death Star. Yeah, going through the old Death Star as well. When it broke down and crashed on that planet I can't remember the name of, but yeah, it is great. I think if you like I said, if you love Star Wars and you like Lego, I'd say this is definitely a worth the game to play. So I've given this an 8 out of 10.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the only game I've completed so far this year. So I think I've got one other that I'm trying to complete, which is Horizon Forbidden West, which may take me a while, but you'll probably get a review of that maybe a few weeks on. So yeah. Right, lit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we only have one bit, don't we?
Yeah. So we said the new merch for
Yeah,
Black Panther.
we've got new official pictures of marketing from Black Panther.
Yeah, and
Wakanda Forever.
already it says Atlantis on it, so Namor is coming.
I
think it's been hinted at. It's been hinted at for ages. We're gonna see Namor.
I saw some more pictures earlier, and it was literally like a picture of Namor.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him actually, because it's gonna be very cool. I don't know. Has there been any mention about who's actually going to be the new Black Panther? Because
no, I think they'll probably announce that in marketing for the film or in the actual.
As much as I hate to say it, this film could surprise me, and it turns out to be very good. I feel like we needed a new. They needed to recast Black Panther. Like, all respect to Chadwick Boseman, he was an excellent actor for it, but it would have, if you recast him, it could have worked out. It could have worked out much better. I don't know.
I don't know. I think I like the fact that they've chosen to respect Chadwick.
Yeah, I think that I see both sides of it, but it depends on how this film goes.
I'm a bit on the fence with this film at the moment. If I'm honest, I think on one hand it could be decent. Like I say, we've got all the Atlantis side of it, and we've got the new Black Panther, which should be interesting. But on the other hand, I'm thinking, without Chadwick, is it going to be the same?
Yeah, that's basically the point.
Like a Black Panther film.
That's the point I'm trying to get out. Will it be the same?
Yeah.
It is scheduled for 11th of November release date, I think. So we'll have to wait and see in a few months.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine us getting some sort of teaser trailer soon. Maybe at the San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, or Disney Plus Day, which is coming September, I think. So hopefully we see
September 8th, I think.
Yeah, we need to see anything in that. Just some kind of.
I think they'll probably focus more on shows there, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope we see some cool stuff. Some more of Secret Invasion would be cool to see.
Oh yeah, definitely Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion, isn't it?
Werewolf by Night. Probably need to see that.
Yeah. The Halloween special they're doing.
Yeah.
And just whatever other shows there are.
So that's about it from me. Well, have you got anything else to say, or is that it?
No, I don't think so. I think that's about it.
Alright then, thank you very much for watching, and what have you got to talk about next week?
I'm not sure.
We have
what have we got? Miss Marvel again?
Yeah, Miss Marvel episode 5, 4, and
I might finish the Umbrella Academy season 3 this week.
Yeah.
I might be able to do that.
And the Baymax series, so
yes.
That'll be alright. That'll
be cool.
Thank you for watching, and see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.